Good afternoon. On behalf of the Lyon family, they wish to make this following statement. March 25th will mark 39 years since Kate and Sheila were taken from our family. Throughout these years, our hopes for a resolution of this mystery have been sustained by the support and efforts of countless members of law enforcement, the news media, and the community. The fact that so many people still care about this case means a great deal to us. We especially appreciate the tireless efforts of the Montgomery County Police Department, the FBI, and all agencies that have worked to solve this case. We are grateful for any information the public can provide to help bring this story to its conclusion, and ask that the family's privacy be respected during this time.
Good afternoon. Chief Tom Manger, Montgomery County Police Department. On March 25th, 1975, 12-year-old Sheila Lyon and 10-year-old Catherine Lyon left their home and walked to nearby Wheaton Plaza. The girls never returned home. This case shocked our community in 1975 and has never been forgotten by the police department or anyone who followed the case 39 years ago. Our cold case squad has been able to identify a man who is currently incarcerated as a convicted child sex offender, and we have established that this man was at Wheaton Plaza on that day and may have had contact with the Lyon girls. The person of interest is Welch, also known as Michael Welch. I want to tell you what we know, and after I finish on details we've been able to establish, I'm then going to ask for the public's help, anyone's help who may be able to fill in some of the blanks that we're dealing with. Investigators have established the fact that Welch was at Plaza on March 25th, 1975. Established that Welch was observed paying attention to the Lyon sisters while at Wheaton Plaza. Welch now has multiple convictions for sexual offenses against young girls and has been incarcerated since 1997 in the state of Delaware for one of these offenses. Welch has criminal convictions involving young female victims in the states of Virginia, Delaware, and South Carolina. Although he is originally from the Washington, D.C. area, Welch has traveled extensively throughout the United States during the 1970s, 80s, and early 90s. He was employed by a carnival company which traveled to various locations throughout the United States, often setting up at shopping malls. Welch was a ride operator for the carnival. He also was accompanied in his travels, was often accompanied in his travels by his girlfriend, Helen Craver, who was also employed by the carnival company. Helen and on my far left. We released a list of nearly 24 locations where was from 1974 through 1997. I'm not going to read all of them, but he not only was he in the D.C. area for during the late 70s, but we know that he was in North Miami Beach, Florida in 1980. He was incarcerated He was in a number of locations in South Carolina from 1988 through 1994. He was back in Baltimore in 1994 and in Pennsylvania in 1994. He was also in Prince William County in 1995. These locations and dates have been provided to you. And the reason I share that is because it's important that we decided to may have been involved in any criminal activity in any of those locations during that time. And Welch was also arrested back in the mid-'70s for a burglary in Montgomery County on Hobson Street, which is just a few blocks away from Wheaton Plaza. So we know that he was involved in criminal activity here at that time. We also know that Welch had some connection or was seen in the area surrounding the old Walter Reed Annex on Forest Glen and Seminary Road. Many of you know that there's the old Castle Church, as people used to call it, at that location, and we know that he used to hang out in that area as well back in the 70s. He was known to hitchhike around the D.C. area, spent a lot of time in Silver Spring and Wheaton. He was also known to walk along the railroad tracks from Kensington to Silver Spring. He's been over the past, or prior to 97, from the 70s to the 90s, he was also employed at various locations as a landscaper, including his employment with the carnival. Much of the time during the 70s and 80s, Welch was considered a drifter and is believed to have stayed in hotels and homeless shelters. Now, that's what we've been able to uncover. Cold case detectives were able to establish. So we're looking for the public's help. Anyone who has any information about Lloyd Welch, they very likely could know him as Mike Welch, an alias. Anyone who has information about him during that time between the 70s and the 90s, we ask for them to contact law enforcement. Anyone that has information about Helen Craver, we would ask information. Ms. Craver is now deceased, but anyone that had information about Ms. Craver is asked to contact us. In addition, we have established that one of the security guards in the plaza, one security guard is we're also looking for any information about the identities of any security guards that were working at Wheaton Plaza. All of these folks have information for Helen Craver in Mr. Welch, point to the pictures on my far right. You've got a picture of Welch from 1977 after an arrest. The drawing, the sketch on that is to the left of this picture is a crime. Is a sketch that was done of an individual who, a witness at the time of the gave a description of a man that was following and may have had contact with the Lyons sisters. So, as you can see, there certainly is a fairly strong resemblance between the photo and the sketch. So, we've got the cold case squad has, like with all cases that we reopen, we have interviewed the witnesses that are still around from the original case. We're looking at new information that comes along, and the fact that Mr. Welch, who we established was at the scene, looking at his criminal history since that incident, has made him an important person of interest in this case. Before I answer any questions that you might have, I want to introduce Steve Vogt, who is the Special Agent in charge of the Baltimore Field Office of the FBI. Steve?
Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for coming out here. Appreciate all coming out today. As the Chief mentioned, we hope to find anyone who may come into contact with Mr. Welch during his extensive travels. We know that covers a lot of territory and a lot of time. So we've set up our 1-800 FBI hotline, so anyone who has information can call us, and here's the number right here to my right. You can also go to FBI.gov and submit details there as well. 56 offices across the United States, resources to help track down any information reported to us. We need everyone who knows something to come forward. Regardless of how insignificant it might seem, it might be enough to put the pieces of this puzzle together. We know we're asking for people to remember things they may not want to think about. It's not an easy thing to come forward if you've been assaulted or if you know someone who has. You may have tried to put it behind you, but the information you provide could help lead us to information about what happened to Sheila and Catherine. They deserve justice, and their family deserves closure, just as you do. In charge of the FBI in Maryland, I'm also a father. I can't begin to imagine the pain of not knowing if my children were hurt in any way. I can't imagine what pain this family's gone through over the last 40 years. So please contact us if you have anything to share. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you.
When we went back over all of the information that was accumulated at the time of the looking at having to look at folks that we had established were at the scene, and then looking at where some of these folks are now, that was the lead that we looked for.
Was he always on a list of potential suspects from the beginning?
No.
When did he become prominent as a potential suspect?
When we were able to determine his criminal history over the past 30 years.
So when did that happen, though, Chief? When did he pop up as such?
Recently.
Recently.
Yeah.
Chief, do you have a physical description of this captain of the security guard that could help us in finding?
I do not, no. But if we get one, we'll let you know.
And also, in association with, you said that he may have had contact with the girls that day. Is there any description of what that may have been?
This is based on witness testimony of folks that were at the mall and saw the girls there.
What's he saying to you, Chief? What's Mr. Welch saying to you?
We're I'm not going to talk about how we got any of this information, or I'm not going to talk about Mr. Welch. We're trying to get information from the public to fill in those. Well, one of the things that we're hoping for is that based on his criminal past, his convictions, we believe that there may be other cases in these other state locations where he was at that time, may be able to connect him to, and that's going to be helpful in terms of us dealing with this case.
What kind of
The person of
behavior would
interest
be?
right now instead of the suspect. What's the difference, and what will it take to change that?
Well, I think if we are able at any point to get enough information to charge someone, whether it's Mr. Welch or someone else, that's when they become a suspect. At that point, we don't have. That's why we're asking for the public's help to give us any additional information they can provide us. That was Mr. Welch's girlfriend for a number of years, and we're trying to find anyone who may have known Ms. Craver. We're seeking information about her as well.
Is she a legal?
Say
Is
again?
she like a person of interest?
She is not. She was his girlfriend, and we're trying to get anybody who has information about her. We'd like to talk to them.
Chief, was he at the mall that day as part of a carnival operation? Was there?
I don't know. If we were able to charge somebody, we'd have done it.
Chief, once Welch became a prominent person of interest in this case, have investigators done any searches at places where he
Well, this is exactly why we need additional information. I mean, we need to know more about his activities. We've got this timeline of where he was on different times during that 20-some year period, but we need more information to start doing those kinds of
You
things.
need to find out where he may have taken these girls.
That's one of the primary.
Or is there any education place in the county that preceded if we should be alerting the public?
The ones that I mentioned, the ones I mentioned in terms of the Walter Reed Annex, and in the timeline, there's some addresses where we determined that he may have lived. Those are the ones we know about, and that's why we're trying to get more.
The security guards at the Reed Plaza, I'm a little confused. Are you saying you don't know who they were and you're trying to find them? Or, because wouldn't they have been investigated or talked to at the time?
We may, I'm sure that there was some interviews done at the time, but we're looking specifically for an individual who we believe may have had contact with Mr. Welch.
Do you know his name?
We don't, no. No, we don't. That's what we're looking for.
The name of the captain who was the captain of security.
That's correct.
Well, 40 years is a long time. Is there a specific plan to find these people? And what if memories are bad? Because this happened on
Well, memories will be bad, but we're hopeful that we can get any information at all that's going to help us. So.
Can you elaborate a little bit on how exactly you placed him there? And when you say you didn't establish he was there, that's through recent witness interviews?
I'm not going to elaborate on information, but the investigators have been able to establish that he was there.
Do you think he was the man with the tape recorder that was still speaking to the girl before they disappeared?
No, we do not think that. No.
Do you have any idea who that man may be, the man with the tape recorder? Have you looked into that?
We have looked into that. We don't know the identity of that individual.
How many people have been working the case, Chief?
We've got our team of cold case investigators, as well as when we get leads like this, we involve the entire homicide. Marcus, how many people we got assigned to homicide now?
We have 12 detectives in homicide.
12 detectives.
We have 3 detectives that are in cold case that are on this case specifically.
What is it about this case?
Well, this is just one of many cold cases that we worked on. The fact that the family deserves justice, these girls deserve proper burial, frankly. And we would do this for, we're looking at all of the cold cases that we have evidence in. I mean, we're going to go back, and that's what the cold case squad is for. I mean, any homicide case, any sexual assault case, these are the kinds of cases that I think you have a responsibility to continue to look at, and especially with technology changing, with new information coming about. Our cold case squad closes cases every year, and I think it's just an important responsibility of ours to do. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.